I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right, welcome back everyone to the 10th episode of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I didn't know we were rolling yet.
Yep,
I'm
he's taking a zip.
I
am. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Well, that was it, wasn't it?
Okay.
Should we start again?
No, I'm ready. Let's go. How are you? How's your weekend? Weekend? What day is it? It is Friday. No, let's not say what day it is.
No one will know from what you just said. It's still a mystery what day it is.
You got me. It's Sunday.
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great, yeah. Tired as always, but I'm drinking some good old tea, and I'm ready for another episode.
Perfect.
How are you? How's, I don't know, what have you been doing? What can you be doing right now?
Well, that's the main question, isn't it? I mean, right now it's just like trying to find something that's like breaking the monotony of everything, isn't it? I mean, it's like you've done everything that you want to do when you have free time, but now it's getting to a point where it's like even that thing is like, you know, you've done that enough.
I know, I haven't gotten around to a lot of stuff.
Yeah?
I was planning to read, and I haven't read a single page, I think, since quarantine started. Oh, quarantine is kind of hard, but...
No, that's what it is. I mean, yeah. Can you believe that
quarantine?
Yeah. Can you believe that this is the 10th episode?
No, I can't.
10 weeks,
Time's
man.
Gone by fast, man.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I remember like 11 weeks ago just sitting in a bar and just talking about it, and now we're doing episode 10, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of stuff has happened in this
short for
time.
sure.
Yeah.
A lot of unexpected stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, and to I mean, I know a couple of people have like listened to one or two episodes, and we're grateful for that. But there's also a couple of people who have listened to every single episode. So a special thank you to those listeners for sure.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that you would take that much time and listen to us. I would.
Well, hopefully it's enjoyable. Hopefully. Yeah. Well, hopefully someone, maybe they've watched something that we talked about and maybe they enjoyed it. That would be the whole point of this thing, right?
Yeah, if any of you got any suggestions from us that you liked, that's kind of the goal of this whole show, yeah.
Yeah, besides the entertainment factor of our brilliant banter with each other.
Just a chance to get to talk to you once a week is great. We don't talk the rest of the week. We ignore each other.
Yeah. But that's to keep the energy fresh, you know?
Yeah, no, I know.
Absolutely.
It's great to hate each other 6 days of the week and then 1 day a week. We
pretend like
it's great, yeah.
It's what makes the show, dude.
I love
Absolutely.
pretending to have friends, yeah. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting good at it now.
Sure. Ass.
Yeah, so since we did like 3 Netflix recommendations last week, due to the situation that's going on right now, and we thought we'd do the same thing again at the end of the show today. Give you another 3 recommendations each, talk about some like older stuff that we like as well, and that hopefully you will enjoy as well. And the regular show is just going to be us talking about the best new thing that we've seen. So is there anything else you want to talk about, or should we just go straight into it?
No, I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
I think it's my turn to start, right? Because you started last time?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I'm interested to see what you got to offer.
So I'm going to talk about a film that actually, it was released, or the first screening was back in 2018, which is crazy. But it's only now made its way over to us. It screened at a couple of festivals, and it had like a theatrical release in other places, but it didn't here. And now it's found its way on Amazon Prime, and that's the Hummingbird Project.
I almost watched it.
You almost watched it?
Yeah, because I want to watch something new, something exciting, and I saw, what's his name? Mr.
Jesse,
Eisenberg.
Yeah. someone we
didn't.
both enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, is it good? I'm interested.
Yeah, I really liked it, man. But I can see a lot of people not getting as much a kick out of it as I did because do you know what it's about? Have you read the synopsis?
No idea.
So this is a film about. I don't see. One interesting thing is I thought it was a true story, and I just read up on it, and apparently it's not because I'm not sure if at the beginning of the film it says it's based on a true story or something like that, like in Fargo, which apparently isn't the case at all. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm so confused. I looked it up now and I still can't quite figure it out, but apparently it's not based on a true story. It really feels like a true story though. So it's about two traders, like on Wall Street, who want to build a fiber optic line between the New York Stock Exchange and Kansas. And they want to build that in a straight line in order for them to get the information 1 millisecond faster than everyone else. Which sounds like nothing, but it is in fact like 1 millisecond makes a huge difference in that environment.
Yeah, it sounds like something someone from Wall Street would do.
Yeah, and as I said, it sounds like a real story to me as well. But yeah, apparently it's not. And yeah, Jesse Eisenberg plays the sort of the main brain behind that whole operation, and his cousin is played by Alexander Skarsgård, who we know from like Tarzan, and he's been in Big Little Lies and many other things.
Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot everything about that film.
He was the Tarzan, wasn't he?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, I really liked it, man. It's got these like, so the thing is, really, they need to build the whole thing literally in a straight line in order to get the best, in order to get the most out of it. But there's like buildings in the way, obviously, and that's not. It's like a very, very difficult plan that they have. There's so many obstacles that they didn't foresee, and things are happening, blah blah blah. But they have to like talk to every single landowner on the way and ask them if they could drill beneath their property. And there's mountains in the way, and they have to figure out ways to get the cable through the mountain and stuff. And one thing I really, really liked is you have like a couple of shots of like, for example, they have to cut down a couple of trees in a forest, and you just have a couple of shots of Jesse Eisenberg sort of looking at the whole thing. And my feeling out of that was like he realizes the ridiculousness of the whole thing, right? But it's never talked about. It's never mentioned. The whole, like they're doing ridiculous things in order to gain 1 millisecond, which is crazy. But there's like these shots of him looking at, obviously the things that are going on. And I thought that was a really, really nice way of focusing on the ridiculousness, but not actually talking about it. I thought that was really, really cool.
So, is it a comedy or is it more of a drama?
No, it's definitely not a comedy. I don't think there's a single like. Obviously, there's a couple of little funny moments in it, but it's definitely a drama. And the funny moments aren't even. If there are any funny moments, then they're maybe not intended, because Salma Hayek plays sort of the villain of the piece. Like she's their ex-boss. Like Jesse Eisenberg persuades his cousin, played by Skarsgård, to leave their company in order to build that line, which obviously takes years. And she's mad at them for leaving, and she's sort of tracking their whole project secretly and trying to stop what they're doing, because it obviously would be bad for her. But she's like this eccentric character who's like, she feels like she's out of a different film. She feels like, I don't know, like a Bond villain.
How is this not a comedy? It's
Yeah.
Crazy plan with an eccentric villain with Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, it's not supposed to be an eccentric villain. That's the thing. And it's not like every time she's on screen, you laugh at the ridiculousness. It's like, it takes a while to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's fine, right? She's okay in it. Once again, when I saw the film, I thought it was a true story, and I was wondering why they chose to portray her in such a way, but apparently it's not a true story, so I don't know why they would. It's a bit weird, that part in the film, but
I'm intrigued, yeah.
Yeah, Skarsgård plays he's almost unrecognizable, because he almost has no hair, and he's very not nearly as attractive as he usually is in every single thing he's in. So he's a bit eccentric as well. And Eisenberg plays a character who's like, he goes through a lot, man. He risks everything, and he also his health in order to achieve his goal of creating this line. They always talk about the line that they build, and he's really impressive. I always like him, but I thought he was really, really good in this one.
How old is Jesse Eisenberg by now? For me, he seems like he's always in his mid-20s, just like Michael Cera. No matter how old these guys get,
Yeah.
they'll always be young for me.
Well, I would think he's like close to 40, no?
Yeah, must be.
I'm looking it up right now. He is 36.
That's crazy, yeah.
I think, or 30. Is that right? No. Yeah, 36. Yeah. And one other thing to sell you on this one is it's shot by the same guy who shot Enemy. And also Next Floor, the one we talked about when we talked about the platform.
Yeah, wow.
So he worked with Villeneuve 2 times. And the cinematography is really, really beautiful. Like that. Obviously, I talked about the shots like of I don't know how to describe these shots, like the shots of the ridiculousness. It's really, really shot well, man. And a Wall Street movie is usually about like the traders, and you see a lot of computer screens, and there's elements of that because Skarsgård plays the person who codes everything, and he's trying to write the software that is necessary for the line to actually like work. But most of the film plays outside, and you really get to see them building the line. So it's not really an indoors Wall Street film. It's very much like a lot of outside and a lot of beautiful locations, and shot very, very beautifully. And
those classic outdoors Wall Street films.
Yeah,
I love them, yeah.
No, it's really good, man. I said earlier, I can understand if you don't like it, as I said, because of a couple of things. Like Selma Hayek feels a bit out of place, and the story is, I mean, I wouldn't say predictable, but it's not like it's not gonna like blow your mind at the end or anything like that. But I really liked it, man. I really, really enjoyed it much more than I expected, because I was looking forward to this for quite a while, and I think it came out like 2 months ago on Amazon Prime. And I only watched it recently, but I really enjoyed it much more than I thought. And if you like Jesse Eisenberg, and if you're into, if the story is appealing to you, then check it out. I think you would like it too.
All right, maybe I'll give it another shot. Oh, another shot. I didn't even give it one shot, but
What made you not watch it, or is it just you watched something else?
I don't know. I was just looking for stuff to watch, something new, preferably.
Yeah.
And I saw the film, and so it looked all right. And I hate to admit that I'm that kind of guy, but sometimes I am. And I looked up the rating.
Yeah. No,
And
I
it
can
seemed
understand.
quite mediocre.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this seems like a film that could be fun, but I don't want to put, I don't know, that much time into it.
Yeah, no, I can understand that totally.
I didn't want to watch, I don't know, like 5 things before I finally found something to talk about today.
Yeah. No, I had the same thing. I had maybe the low expectations that I had, because, as you said, the ratings weren't great, and I also think that the poster looks awful. It's much better than I thought it was going to be, and maybe that sort of helped the movie in my estimation as well. Maybe
It's
the
funny
beauty,
how much difference like a poster can do.
for sure. But hey, the beauty of low expectations sometimes. It's. I really liked it, man. I that's all I can say.
All right, that sounds fun, man. Yeah.
What about you? What have you seen?
Yeah. So what I watched was a show, and it's kind of. So I want to start off by saying I haven't finished the show, and it's also a Prime show. No.
Oh,
Prime
okay.
Original.
Yeah.
I think. And it's Modern Love. I don't know if you heard about it.
Is that the Anne Hathaway one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Big macho guy who loves princess movies. And
Yes.
talks about modern love. Yeah.
No, I dig it, man.
I love
dig
my
it.
reputation.
I dig it. Yeah, tell me about it. Because I know very little about this. I just saw the poster and maybe a trailer, but I forgot everything about it.
I think it has like 7 episodes by now, so like 1 season is out. And the thing about the show is every episode is a new story, and all the stories are based on, I think, essays submitted to the New York Times. And the theme is, well, love in the modern times in New York.
Okay.
So I'm like 3 episodes in, and the first one is about a young woman who has a very dear relationship with her doorman in her apartment building, and he kind of gives her advice on, well, life and love. And the second one is about a young entrepreneur who tells a reporter about his love life, and the one who got away. And the third one is about a woman with Anne Hathaway, who tries to live with being bipolar and kind of balancing that with a dating life, or just being able to get out and trying to kind of make this whole dating thing possible. But it's just very hard for her in her situation, and it's very, very cheesy at times.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So is it with a different set of actors in every episode?
Yeah, every episode. Like the second episode is with Dev Patel and Catherine Keener. Thank you. And the third one is with Anne Hathaway, and I don't know how many other famous actors gonna appear in the later episodes, but yeah, every episode is completely different, and that's kind of the appeal, I guess. But it's the kind of show you just want to sit at home when it's raining, put on a blanket and eat a lot of ice cream. I know that sounds to be so freaking masculine right now.
Yeah.
That's all right. But yeah.
No, I love it, dude. I
love it too.
No, dude, seriously, don't stick to it. Stick to it. You got it.
Don't worry, I will. I can't change my personality.
Yeah. Nor should you.
It's kind of a short love film in the end. So it's like 30 minutes per episode.
Okay, it's that short. Okay.
It is, yeah. So it's kind of, yeah. If you want a short film, on the quotations, I guess, this is great. Especially the cast is great, and all the films kind of feel like a mixture of You Got Mail or films like that from, what's her name?
Meg Ryan?
No, not Meg Ryan. The writer.
Nancy Myers? No. Who wrote, Nora Ephron?
Nora Ephron. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. I love those films, man. Like that.
So have you heard of the show?
I have. Yeah, I heard of the show. I haven't seen it though. There's also like it reminded me from what I've heard of This Is Us, which is supposed to be really, really good as well. Like I watched an episode of that like a couple of years ago, and I thought it was very, very interesting. But it's just, me with shows, it's always difficult to get me hooked on a show, and there's so many shows that I'm now catching up on that I enjoy every single episode, and for whatever reason I still don't find myself watching more than one episode like a week because I just can't get myself through it. I don't know why.
It's right, don't apologize. You have a life.
Well, sure, but now, I mean, like there's absolutely nothing to do and I still don't watch shows, but I'm sure that if I'd watch it, I'd enjoy Modern Love, but it's just, so many shows on my list. That one wasn't really, that one didn't grab my attention enough for me to check it out.
Well,
maybe I will.
The great thing about the show is you don't have to go till the end. You can watch 1 or 2 episodes, or
so there's no red line through it.
Not as far as I'm aware. Maybe at the end of the season, there's like a big get together with all the characters.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that would be a bit cheesy.
Yeah, it would be. But the whole show is kind of cheesy at times. But yeah, like I said, I think that's kind of the appeal.
So you watched 3 episodes, you said.
Yeah.
So do you know who else is in it? Sorry.
The girl from Ozark, I think, plays in one episode.
Laura Linney?
No, the young. Have you seen Ozark?
No.
Yeah. No, you haven't. All right.
No.
There's this young blonde girl who plays kind of a redneck in Ozark, and she plays in one of the episodes of Modern Love, I think. I was only aware of Dev Patel and Anne Hathaway, so I'm not sure who else is gonna come on, but
you're hooked. You want
so far, yeah. The cast is great. Andy Garcia made an appearance.
He always makes appearances. Do you remember him in Passengers? One of his most defining roles at the end. Yeah. I love that.
Does he say a single word in Passenger?
I'm sure he must. I'm sure he.
Yeah, I think he just gets out and looks at the scene that is developed before him.
Well said. Right? Yeah. I'm sure. Does he not say anything? Maybe.
Maybe.
One of his greatest roles.
He was glad to be paid just for standing there and being Andy Garcia and being on the poster.
Yeah. What is he's on the poster?
I think he's credited as one of the top credited people. I mean, not a lot of people have any lines in the film.
What do you mean?
They're like 3 people in the whole film.
Yeah.
The 2 main actors and the rowboat.
Well, right. Lawrence Fishburne.
Ah, right. I've totally forgot that he makes an appearance.
Yeah, he makes more of an appearance than Andy Garcia.
Yeah, I don't remember the whole film, to be honest. But it's a great one.
It's great.
Oh, real cheesy.
Yeah. No, whatever. I don't know how we got to Passengers, but yeah.
Andy Garcia, baby.
Yeah, always. Right. So, anything else about Modern Love, or is that it?
It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling anything, seeing as how every episode is just 30 minutes.
But every episode is a different story of two people like falling in love with each other.
Not just two. It's not just two people. Like in first episode, it's less about her falling in love and just about kind of finding herself and about the relationship she has with her doorman.
Gotcha.
And just finding the right man, or being more comfortable with herself, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in the third episode with Anne Hathaway, it starts with her writing a dating profile and just telling her story in her bio so people can get to know her, and the whole episode is just her telling her story and why she's on this dating app. So there isn't a successful story in this episode.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that she would she's one of the, I would say she's an A-list actress, and it's interesting to me that she's only doing like a show where she's only in it for one episode, and that's even only 30 minutes. It's interesting. But apparently, if she loves the source material, then
yeah, and I think she got a chance to sing. So
she got it. Did you really?
Yeah, the whole her story is kind of.
It really does sound cheesy.
Her story is kind of told in different parts, and at first she kind of tells it like it's La La Land, so there's a lot of dancing, and she even comments, "I know I'm making this sound like La La Land."
No way, does she actually say that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Last time I heard Anne Hathaway sing was in Les Miserables. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we said that perfectly.
Yeah, we did.
In unison as well. Right. So, those are the two best things that we've seen.
Yeah, the best new things.
Well, yeah, but that's sort of the
show, yeah.
Theme of the show, right? That's the best.
No, let's get to the good part.
No, I really like my pick. I mean, I'm cautious with it because I know that not everyone is going to like it as much as I do because of things that I mentioned. But I'm happy with my pick. I really like that. I like the Hummingbird Project.
It's kind of fun to suggest some niche kind of films, niche picks. Makes it more fun, I guess.
For sure. And that's what we're naming. Yeah. That's what we're going to try and do with the Netflix recommendations as well now. I mean, definitely. Once again, we're going to steer clear of the main ones that everyone has heard of or seen. And we're just going to give you 3 new Netflix recommendations that hopefully will be of interest to you.
You want to start?
Is it my turn again? Doesn't matter.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So the first one that I'm going to recommend is a very recent film. It's lovely. We want to talk about older stuff, but I'm going to talk about a film that was released very recently. And it's called On the Basis of Sex. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it. What's On the Basis of Sex again?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg's story.
Ah, right. Sneak film, right?
I don't think it was in the... Was it in the sneak?
I think, but I
didn't see it in the cinema. Yeah, I definitely didn't see it in the cinema.
All right.
I think it had a release here, but I haven't seen it in theaters. I watched it recently.
And it's good?
It's really good, man. It's really good. She's played by, I always forget her name and I should have written it down.
The Rogue One extras? No.
Yes, this is, yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Or is it?
Felicity Jones. That's her name.
Yeah.
That's right. It's Jyn Erso from Rogue One.
Yeah.
She plays, obviously, it's her sort of, it's the stories about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's now one of the, she's on the Supreme Court, isn't she? And,
she's
one of the few Democrats. Yeah. She's still, but she's battling, or I think she successfully battled some health scare recently, and there's a lot of fear for Democrats now that as soon as she won't be able to do her job anymore, that another Republican is going to be put up on the Supreme Court. But this film is about her come up, and obviously it starts when she's very young and she's in law school, and her husband is played by Armie Hammer, who everyone loved in Call Me by Your Name, and I loved him ever since I saw The Social Network for the first time.
Both times you saw him.
Yeah. And it's just, it's a fascinating story because it's obviously about the difficulties of being a woman in the law, in the field of law, and her trying to reach her dreams. And it's obviously very, very difficult for her because of so many restrictions that are and discrimination against women back then. And of course nowadays as well, but even more so back then. One of the school leaders that she's at is played by Sam Waterston, who's a great, always one of those mean old guys, and he was in The Newsroom, which is one of my favorite shows, also written by Aaron Sorkin, and he plays sort of the bad, discriminating, conservative school headmaster who
perfect villain.
Yeah. And it's just about her and her husband as well. He's helping her, trying to pave the way for women in the field of law. It's a fascinating story. I don't want to give away too much because it's
She died at the end?
No, she's still alive, man. She's still going strong.
Great, yeah.
And the film has such a beautiful ending as well. And really, really like a goosebumps ending for sure. It's a political biography drama that is really, really elevated by a great performance. Like Kathy Bates is also in this.
Of course it is.
It's really good. It's really good. I can recommend that.
Has the real Ruth Bader Ginsburg made any comments on the film? What she thought about it? I think that's always quite interesting.
I'm not sure if I haven't read any comments on it, but she was involved in the making of the film, I think. And
okay.
Yeah. What's your pick?
My first pick, if you know me personally, I've probably recommended this to you, but if you haven't met me, I'm sorry. No, my first pick is Over the Garden Wall, which I've talked about so much to so many people, and I'm sure everybody's annoyed by now, but in my opinion, it's just one, if not the best animated show out there. And that's high praise, because I watch a lot of animated stuff.
Yeah. I have heard about this from you, and I still haven't watched it, but it's on my list for sure.
That's all right. That's why we're still not friends.
Yeah. No, I thought today we're pretending. Whatever.
All right.
Sorry.
I love you.
Thank you.
Let's go.
What is it about?
Over the Garden Wall is an animated series, and the great thing about it, it's a limited show with only 10 episodes with 10 minutes each. So you can watch in one go, like a movie.
The great thing about it is it's over very quickly.
No, I love it. It's got a clear beginning and a clear end, and
it's almost like a movie, right? That's how you described it to me as well. If you could watch it, like it's an hour 10 or whatever.
1 hour 40 minutes if you watch it in one go.
Oh, it's okay, yeah.
It's got some great songs in there, beautiful songs. So it's about two brothers who get lost in the woods. That's pretty much it. And they kind of see that the woods are magical, and they meet a talking bird, and all they want to do is go home. And the two brothers are such sweet characters, because the older brother, Word, yeah, it's kind of a weird name to pronounce, who is voiced by Elijah Wood.
Oh, and I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and his younger brother, whose name I've just forgotten, how embarrassing. Greg, that's right. Got it. Saved it.
Yeah.
It's kind of this very young, very sweet kid who's very naive and is friendly to everyone. And yeah, it's first of all, it's a very sweet story about brothers and kind of just trying to find a way home, but it's got such great humor, and later on becomes very sad and actually quite scary, actually. So I wouldn't show it to a kid, actually.
Okay.
But the animation and the voice cast and everything is so great and so perfect. It's just one of my all-time favorites.
Is this an American production?
It is, but it's got some great voices in. It's a Cartoon Network limited show. I think their first limited show.
Yeah, I thought it was like an Asian production where
no.
You watched it in the original language as well. I didn't know that it was originally in English.
No, it's in English, and the voice cast, it's got Christopher Lloyd is in there, and
who's Doc Brown?
No, not as Doc Brown, as the Woodsman, and another person whose name I've also just forgotten because I'm terrible with names. And it's so embarrassing because it's a very famous person, and I just remembered it's John Cleese.
It's lovely to hear your brain work.
Thank you. I just got out my phone and wanted to look it up, but I remembered it in time.
Yeah.
Saved my honor. So yeah, it's a great show to watch in one sitting, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like that, yeah, for sure.
And most people that I've told to about the show, I can't speak
Recommended
anymore.
the show too?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
They've all gotten back to me and quoted this one song, Potatoes with Molasses. It's a great moment.
So if you want to get that reference, make sure to check out Over
Please
the
watch
Garden
it.
Wall.
I think it's episode 3 or 4. I think.
Can you
it's
give me
3.
the minutes as well?
Yeah, it must be about 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
Perfect.
you.
I'll check it out.
I think I said something terribly wrong.
It's in a different show. Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah. No, I wish I could add anything to this. I haven't seen it, but I can. What I can say. I know what I can say
one
is
of the best endings.
Yeah, I can only vouch for the show in the way that I know that Gabe has raved about it for a very, very long time, and
It's
I need
one
to
of my
check it
very
out.
few 10s.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the ultimate recommendation. My second choice is a movie called All I See Is You.
Once again, a film that I've heard of, but I have no idea.
So this
What's it
is a Blake Lively, she's the main actress in this, and Jason Clarke is in it. She's her husband. He's her husband. And it's about a woman who is blind, and she undergoes an operation which allows her to see. And this one is directed by Mark Forster, who's one of the greats in my opinion, currently working. He's very, very he's a very, very exciting director. He's done like oh god, there's so many things. Probably his most known thing is World War Z. That's one of those things. He did the Christopher Robin film, the new one. He did
The one with God, I can't remember names today. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, with Ewan McGregor.
Thank you very much.
I'm just blanking on everything he's done.
The
I'm just
most
looking.
beautiful pronunciation I've ever heard.
Thank you, dude. I'm just rattling through this here. I'm looking it up. He also did Quantum of Solace. Let's forget about that.
It's one of the very few James Bond that I haven't seen.
Oh, you're lucky. He did Stranger Than Fiction, which we talked about last week.
All right.
Yeah. And also Finding Neverland, Monsters
film, yeah.
Ball, and another very underrated gem is called Stay with Ryan Gosling and also with Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts. So he's really
Two
been...
actors I love.
Yeah, he's a very, very interesting director. And All I See Is You is about the relationship of this couple and what happens after she undergoes her operation, because obviously she's very, very dependent of her husband when she's blind, and it's sort of about the dynamic shift that happens once she's able to see, because things are not as she thought they were necessarily. And this is a story that takes a lot of turns that I don't want to get into at all. This is another one. Look at the ratings, and it's terrible. Like, honestly, and I genuinely don't understand why this movie has such bad ratings.
There are a couple of those films.
Yeah. Usually I tend to agree, with the common, with the ratings. If a film has like a bad rating, I'm never like, oh, I'm usually not like, oh, this was a great film. I usually get the why it's low.
We
But
don't want to upset the masses.
Yeah. But this one really, really worked for me. It's really interesting. It's got great music in it, and it's a really, really terrific performance by Blake Lively, who I'm a big fan of. Obviously, besides the fact that she's very, very beautiful, I think she's also a very, very underrated actress. I think when she decides to do dramatic roles, and she really this one is the prime example for me of her being really, really great.
What else does she star in? I only remember two films that I watched with you in the cinema, which were Shallow, I think the name was.
The Shallows, yeah.
The one with Anna Kendrick.
Oh yeah, A Simple Favor.
A Simple Favor. That's
Yeah, I
right,
thought she was great in that as well. I didn't like the movie as much, but I thought she was good in that. Well, she was great in The Age of Adeline, which is
No
another
idea.
one that I love. That's sort
Age
of
of Adeline.
yeah, that's a cheesy film that I love.
Oh, cheesy. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a woman who stops aging, so she lives through various centuries, I think. But it's a modern story. Really, really good one. I really like it. She was also in Cafe Society, which you loved.
She what? Who was she in Cafe Society?
Well, she's Jesse Eisenberg's love interest, wasn't she? Besides
Oh,
Kristen
really?
Stewart.
I remember liking the film, but I once again don't remember anything about the film.
I don't know. Was she the love interest, or was she just a side character in it? I remember
Just
her
remember
being
him
in
and Kristen Stewart.
yeah.
Once again,
I think she was like. I remember seeing her in that.
I got
In the
Blu-ray
cafe.
right next to me. Give me a second. There she is. Yeah,
And another one. She
think,
was
yeah.
in. Sorry.
his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I'm not sure if she was his girlfriend. I think she was maybe an ex. I'm not. I honestly don't know either. I'm sorry if this is wrong. I know she's in it. And obviously her most acclaimed work is in Green Lantern.
Of course,
Yeah.
classic that I haven't seen yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I've heard so
Every-
many great things, and I thought it couldn't live up to its
Yeah.
reputation.
No,
So
it's not a very good film.
what it isn't?
No. But All I See Is You. It's another it's a dark film. It's a very much a drama, and so at times a very, very tough watch, but very interesting, and also beautifully shot and great music, and the ending is just amazing. It's also a scene where she sings a song, like you mentioned with Anne Hathaway. It's such a fantastic scene. But
It's the best selling point you could have told me.
no, it's honestly this is one of those gems that I've whenever someone asks me about a recommendation, this one is one that I know that a lot of people haven't seen, and maybe a lot of people haven't watched it because of the bad reviews. I can recommend this one for sure. I really, really like it.
All right, I'm gonna add that to my list today.
All right.
The many films that I still have to watch. All I See Is You. All right. So my number 2 is once again a show. I'm sticking with a theme today.
I love it.
It's once again an animated show.
Yeah.
It's Steven Universe. It's one of the better known shows, I guess, but I've talked to a lot of people and they haven't heard of it. And it's a show by Rebecca Sugar, which I know everybody knows,
What
right?
a name. I've
Yeah.
never heard of her.
That's all right. She's one of the head writers of Adventure Time. I think she was one of the head
okay.
writers. She's one of the writers, definitely. And she's done this show, which is very much in the same vein of Steam Universe, Adventure Time, sorry. So it's quite zany and weird and bright characters, and that's what makes the show great. And it's just, yeah, extremely sweet. And if you love those kind of shows which seem to be more nonsense than anything else at times, and that's all right. I think I kind of need those kinds of shows from time to time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and once again, a couple of great songs. Rebecca Sugar actually sings the credit song. And the great thing is about the song is every episode it's a different part of the song, and if you take all of those credits and put them together, it makes one song.
Fun.
Yeah,
Great
isn't
idea.
it?
Yeah, great
Yeah.
idea. I mean, who has the time to go through that though? Like,
People on YouTube.
right, they cut it together. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank God for YouTubers.
But the thing is, the show it's got a very important message, and the thing is, it's kind of a kid show, I guess. A kid show that can be watched by adults.
Yeah.
Which I think one of the main audiences is actually also adults. But the thing is, it's about the crystal gems, which are kind of people, I guess, made out of gems, or they have one gem and around that they're a person. It's kind of hard to explain. Imagine a person who's got like a diamond stuck in their belly.
Okay.
Or a ruby. So they also are named after their gems. So there's pearl, there's ruby, there's garnet, etc. And the thing is, all of them are women. And that's kind of a big part of this show. And it's people can fuse and become one person. It's got this kind of hidden message about transgender people and about sexuality, and it's great.
I'll take your word for it.
I think it's an important message. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is all you.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, I'm interested. That just I don't know anything about this, and I'm not really into.
I'm sure you wouldn't like the show.
I wouldn't.
I think you would find it all right, but I don't think it's the kind of show you would watch to the end. I think the first season actually got like 50 episodes. 50? Yeah, but they're like 10 minutes each.
Okay.
And I think season 1 and maybe season 2 are on Netflix right now. There are like 6 seasons. I think the 6th season, maybe the last season, came out about... It finished a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
In March. And also Steven Universe movie came out last year. And the cool thing about the movie and about the new season, which sadly I haven't seen, but I have seen the movie, is that Steven, the titular character, grows up. Which I think is great. He's like 10, 12 throughout the whole show, and then he's like 16, 18, which I think is great if a show does that, if it's kind of takes the leap, because in all those animated shows, they stay 14 forever, and it's all right.
Good point.
It's a part of the show. I get it, why they do it, but I think it's great they had this great show, and that kind of an ending after season 5. It kind of ends the main story, and then they start with a new story, maybe a small story. I haven't seen the 6th season, like I said, but I've seen the movie, and he's older, and I think it brings this whole new story to it, and this whole new flair and charisma. And I think, it's a great thing to see, to kind of finally see a cartoon character grow up.
By the way, because we talked about YouTubers, have you watched the Some Good News show?
I have. I've seen episode 1 now. Because
it's funny, because I think as soon as we released the episode, the 2nd episode of Some Good News also was released. And that one also, I mean, it had so many views in such a short time, and I watched that as well, and I absolutely loved it, because I like the musical Hamilton as well, and something happens. It's amazing. What did you think of the first one?
I think it was quite funny. Actually stopped in the middle for a while, and then I skipped the part later, because they talk about the ending of The Office, which I haven't seen, or actually I haven't finished, because I finally started watching The Office like yesterday, and I thought it's one of the show everybody says it's great, and I thought, yeah, all right, it's gonna be funny, but it's gonna be all right. I thought it couldn't live up to the hype, but now that I started watching, I think it just finished season 2, and I started yesterday, and I fucking love it. It's great. I didn't expect a story. I thought it was just pure joke of the joke of. I thought it was more like Parks and Recs, but it feels kind of deeper, and I love the characters.
I don't think they talk about they spoil anything about the ending.
They talk about the last scene they did together, and I didn't know if they they talked about anything special.
Yeah, so it's such a good scene.
I ended up skipping it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I've seen. The Office is the best thing I've seen in my life, maybe.
Dude, I understand why.
I love it.
It is a great show, yeah.
Let's go through the last ones real quick, because we're already late again. I'm going to do a very, very simple pitch. My third pick is a movie called Conviction. Here's the pitch. Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank. Right. This is a real story as well. Sam Rockwell plays her brother. He gets put in jail, even though he did nothing wrong, for life. She decides to become a lawyer in order to help him get out.
It's a real story.
It's a real story.
All right.
Crazy. And I think that should be enough for you to watch it.
I just heard Sam Rockwell on that, man.
He is amazing in this. Hilary Swank is amazing in this. And I'm a sucker for courtroom or law dramas. And I love Sam Rockwell. And this one is amazing. And the story itself is, I mean, as I just said, it's true, and it's unbelievable that story is true. And the movie is great. Watch Conviction.
It's not a Netflix film, right?
No, it's not a Netflix film, no.
So when did it come out?
Oh, a long time ago. Time ago. I think it's called Betty Ann Waters. That's her name in the movie.
Ah, all right.
Yeah,
I got it on my watch list on Netflix, Betty Ann Waters.
Came out in 2010.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Watch Conviction. It's really good.
All right. Well, after each suggestion of ours, I got so many new ones, and I know I'm not going to keep up. But that's all right.
Yeah.
All right. So my last pick, and like I said, I want to kind of have a theme. I took another show, and I took another animated show, because
variety.
Yeah, you can take your pick, but top of the list is still Over the Garden Wall. So my third pick is F is for Family, a Netflix show, which I think a lot of people have heard of, but
is that Bill Burr?
Yes, yeah. And I don't know that many people who've actually seen it. So it's by Bill Burr. He created the show. He voices the main character. He's a writer, and Bill Burr, like we talked about, is one of the, in my opinion, greatest stand-up comedians out there, or at least he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, flashback to our first episode, right?
Yeah.
Nice little anecdote.
Bill Burr live.
Yeah.
Great moment. I loved it. And the thing is, I actually discovered the show first, which came about 3 years ago, I think. It's in its third season now, or fourth season is coming 2020, I think. And I didn't realize that it was him. I didn't actually make the connection first when I saw Bill Burr as a stand-up comedian. But he's great, and the show is loosely based on his childhood, growing up in Massachusetts, and just he voices the father of the family. The father is kind of based on his father, who gets these tantrums and screams at everybody. So it's one of those shows who kind of often leaves off with a kind of a downer and kind of a message, I guess, or less of a message, but just kind of a depressing ending. But it's got a whole lot of great jokes during the episode, and it's if you like Bill Burr and the kind of humor he does, you're gonna love it. And if you don't, give it a watch. If you don't like it, that's all right.
I thought you were just gonna say, and if you don't, then go fuck yourself.
It would be kind of in the spirit of Bill Burr, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. I mean, we wanted to do another shorter one. We're already like 50 minutes in again. This is...
Are we?
Yeah,
all right.
The banter is too strong. The conversations flow.
We'll cut out some of your recommendations.
Yeah. I love that I have the power over the edit, so I love that you suggest that we do that.
Out Over the Garden Wall. I know.
All right, man. So episode 10 in the books.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Another fun one.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for episode 100. Imagine
I just wanted to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something special. The best episode that we've
the best
heard, seen. I don't know. We'll think of
best
something
of the
special.
decade. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, one of those recommendations have tickled your fancy.
Like Over the Garden Wall.
Like Over the Garden Wall. That's the only one that they're gonna remember now.
I hope so. Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's the whole point.
It's the whole point. Yeah. Please, if you know anybody who's into movies or TV shows, and who like to hear podcasts as well, please tell them about our show. We're always excited to have new listeners and always eager to spread the word. And if you want to leave a rating on the podcast platforms, that would be very much appreciated. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think it's not a great one.
Yeah, I mean, because it's Over the Garden Wall, right?
Yeah, I just want to have it in there at some point.
Yeah.
Let's do a whole Over the Garden Wall episode at some point. Let's do this,
As Gabe cuts
been
out...
decided. It's on the record. You can't change it.
Yeah, I can.
I know.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.